All right, we are live for the first time.
Cool.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. This is the medium difficulty podcast. My name is James, and on the other end, I have Andrew, who you may know as Spider Stags on Twitch.
How's everyone doing?
So, I base this podcast off of a couple other ones. Some of my favorites being Frame Trap and Kind of Funny Games Cast, Kotaku's, Major Nelson's, and I just want to have me and friends and everybody share our experiences with video games. Um, so I'd like to thank Andrew for definitely joining me on this journey,
100%.
and totally being there and helping me with everything. So I guess do you have anything to say anything, Andrew? If not, we'll jump into some games.
No, I mean I'm just excited to be here, excited to break into a different field than what I'm used to. Should be an exciting journey. If the first podcast isn't as quality as the rest are, everyone has to start somewhere, guys.
Yeah. So we don't have any
Don't crucify
jingles.
us too bad.
We don't have any jingles or transitions or anything fancy yet, but I mean, maybe, hopefully soon one day. So let's start off here. The first game that we're going to talk about today is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. So, which one of these did you buy?
I bought Let's Go Eevee mainly for the fact that every Pokemon game that I had growing up seemed to be based around Pikachu. So I definitely wanted to change it up a little bit and have a different starter. I played Pokemon Yellow a lot growing up, so it was a nice change of pace.
Yeah, you kind of get into I mean, I'm not going negative because I enjoyed the game, but like one of my first negatives right off the bat was I picked the Eevee as well
Yeah,
because I thought we were going to be able to evolve our starter. Now,
so did I.
I guess that's not enough, info I looked up on my part, but that kind of ticked me off a little bit that I wasn't able to evolve Eevee, but I mean, she was still a boss. Like she still learned a crap ton of moves, and I wasn't
Yeah, and
expecting.
I didn't realize at first because I didn't research it. So the first playthrough I did of it, I didn't have it, but I didn't realize you can go to the Pokemon Center and get your move trained with
Oh
different.
yeah,
So you could get different types, like a dragon move or whatever. And I didn't do that the first time. So the second playthrough, now I'm doing that.
doing it.
But I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, I found that guy at the beginning, and like you had a choice of like a fire move, a water move, grass, and like I remember I chose like three of them, and I
Yeah,
only thought he had those like four types of moves, so I never went back to him, not realizing that he
yeah,
did have dragon and everything else like that too.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, found that out later in the game. Uh, so what did you think of the new wild encounters or how their lack thereof?
See, I'm a big fan of. I didn't think I was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think I was going. I didn't think I was going to be at first because of the way I think I interpreted it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
remember you during E3 being like, "I don't like it."
yeah, I was like, I'm not getting this game. And after playing it, I love it because that as a kid, and I don't know, maybe it was just
Yeah,
me, but I didn't like going into the grass and not knowing what was coming up. Like
mm-hmm.
maybe I was looking for like a say like I was looking for a bell sprout and I just kept running into Pidgeys. Like that was so frustrating to me growing up. So I like now that with the wild encounters, I can see who I want to run into, or
Mm-hmm.
like if I want to do the catch chain,
Oh yeah,
I can do that. Like, so I don't know. From my perspective, at first I thought I was going to hate it, but it ended up being something that I hope they move forward and continue to do.
yeah.
I don't know how you feel on it, but
Oh no, I definitely liked it because it kind of cut out all the bull crap that it was just. Yeah, you knew who you were going to catch. You could avoid the Zubats in the cave,
yeah,
and I mean, I do kind of wish that like it still had the same battle system and it wasn't that weird Pokemon Go catching mechanic. Like I
I
think,
agree.
yeah, I think I would have liked to be able to put things to sleep and try to catch them easier that way and stuff like that instead of kind of relying on a little bit of luck. Um, I actually played the game with the little Pokeball attachment too.
Okay. Yeah. See,
Um,
I didn't do that. I didn't end up buying it.
yeah, that was actually surprisingly really cool because every time like you caught like a Pokemon or I forget the ways that you could trigger it, but like once you caught them, like the ball's vibration feedback was I think the same type that like the Switch has in the controller, so it's really good, but it was synced up with their battle cry. So it's like when you were like they did their battle cry, it came from the Pokeball. There was a speaker in
Okay.
there too. And like it actually was really cool. It made it like sound like the Pokemon was actually in there and moving around.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't. I went to GameStop and I was picking up Super Mario ornaments for my Super Mario tree. And I
Nice.
saw they had the two Pokeball pluses in the back. And I said to the guy, I'm like, can you grab? And then I caught myself and said, no, what? I'm not going to get it. So I was 2 words away,
Mm.
basically, from getting it, and I ended up not.
Yeah.
I kind of regret it because I kind of wanted Mew.
Well, they do have now. I did see. I think it was like Target or like somebody this week has like the whole bundle on sale for like $40
Oh,
for the
really?
game and the Pokeball, and I'm kind of
Oh,
mad because
that's a steal.
the Pokeball itself is like $50 separately. Which
Yeah, yeah,
to be honest, like I haven't played Pokemon in like a week or two, but the Pokeball I can only use it for that. So hopefully they
yeah.
integrate that into the new game though too.
And I hope that with the ball, I hope that the new Pokemon game we're supposed to be getting
Mhm.
later this year integrates that. So like it wasn't just like, oh, I wasted $50 for just one game,
Yeah.
like essentially for one game. But knowing Nintendo
Yeah.
and their accessories, that might be
Yeah, I
it
have a
might be a
lot of
thing.
Pokemon accessories sitting around that I'm not using
Yes,
anymore.
definitely.
Um, um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I played. Did you play the original like Red, Blue, and Yellow at all? Or
Yes, yeah.
okay,
I played. I actually got Blue on the release day when it first came out um, at uh, like Target or Walmart or
okay,
wherever the heck it came out at. I remember begging my grandmother to go get it, and then my dad got Pokemon Yellow when that came out a few years later. And I remember we all used to play, but yeah, I mean,
I
it,
re- I remember I didn't get it on release date, but I remember like everybody in my school talking about it, and I got Blue. I think like for my right after my birthday, like with
yeah,
birthday money, and that was like the longest car ride home. You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I still have the original Blue cartridge in my. I have like a little bin of like just miscellaneous things, and it's still in there. And the sticker on the game cartridge is peeling off now, but the that thing's a tank, man. That thing lasts forever. It's wild.
It's funny because our delivery job that we do in our spare time,
Yeah, that's
I
fair
was
time.
at Wawa. This is like a year ago, and I bought the original green version from Japan because like I heard it
Yeah,
was different and like they had different music and everything like that, and the sprites are different from the original. And I was sitting in the parking lot playing it, and one of the gas station attendants came over because he saw me playing a Game Boy. He's like, "Is that a Game Boy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Holy crap!" He's like, "That Pokemon?" And like I was like, yeah. He's like, is
yep.
Pokemon green? And he's like, I still remember the guy came over, like just I'm sitting there on my break in the truck playing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
but I always find it crazy the type of people who like play Pokemon because it's like I feel almost like a little kid when I'm playing it, but then like you
I
know,
mean, the thing I hate is like when I was going through school, like if you liked Pokemon or you liked like all the things that are popular now,
yeah,
like you were considered a nerd.
oh yeah,
And I still to this day consider myself a nerd. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I mean, well, between comic books, like video games, everything. But
Mhm.
like, the weird thing is that's all cool now. So like, I feel like we grew up at the wrong time. Like, we could have been the popular kids in school now.
Well, that's the thing is like when I was in like grade school, it got really popular, and then like I hit high school and nobody was talking about it. But apparently everybody was still playing it, and nobody just told each other.
Yeah,
So it was like,
it was like that unspoken,
hmm
unspoken thing that you all did.
Yeah, I still remember it was like a year after high school. I forget what version came out, and I was working at Hollywood Video slash Game Crazy, and there was like three of my old classmates in line that were like, jocks who played football and stuff like that, waiting for the new
Yeah,
Pokemon game.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the truth though. Like, I mean, I'll play Pokemon games till the day I die. So
Oh yeah.
it doesn't matter to me. I'll always be a big fan of that.
Do you think we're getting a new Pokemon this year? You think we're getting?
They said we are,
We're
and
definitely. Yeah.
out of all the companies, Nintendo's the one that lets me down the least.
That is true.
In terms of games, like when they say something, a lot of times they end up doing it.
Now,
So
I mean, do you think they're going to stick to the same like art style as this one? Do you think they're going to go?
I do. I think it's going to be similar in basis to it, but more your traditional RPG Pokemon game,
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
necessarily what we got in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Um, I think it'll be more. I think this one was like to tailor everyone that was just like growing up playing Pokemon Go into the RPG style world. So now they have every single player who's either picked it up on the mobile or picked it up,
Mhm.
always been playing it, all going to buy their game now.
Yeah.
So, or at least that's, the
Yeah.
hope.
It's crazy how well the game sold for them too. Like
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
was announced, people I remember being ticked off,
Yeah.
and that I think I like everybody kind of did the same thing. Where they're like, "Oh wait, you kind of cut out all the bull crap, like with all the
Yeah.
wild encounters." And I think the new one this year is going to sell ridiculous because I brought like a whole new generation of people
Yeah,
into
it's going to be something I definitely digitally download because
it. Mm.
I'm not going to fight people at GameStop for for video games.
Yeah,
If
I
GameStop's even
think
available at the end of 2019. GameStop might not even be there. Who knows?
I have found myself moving more towards digital as well, especially with the Switch,
Yeah.
because if you want to have your games with you, I mean, just get a big memory card and it seems to pay for itself.
Well, that's what I did when it first came out. So
Mhm. Yeah, I think I have like 128 gigs or something like that. I need to go
I think
bigger.
I got. I think I did. I think I did the same. I'm not
Same.
sure though. I forget. But
Hmm.
the games aren't that big, so it's not. It's
Yeah,
not a big issue for me right now.
yeah. Speaking of which, I think I saw um, the 256 on sale for like 30 or $40.
Oh wow.
Wario 64. If anybody's listening and you don't follow Wario 64 on Twitter, that man, that man deserves an award.
It's the truth. You're
All
not
right,
lying.
all right. So let's move on a little bit. We were going to talk a little bit about Spider-Man, but we actually just they got some news dropped. Was it earlier today or yesterday about like Fantastic Four DLC coming to the Spider-Man game?
Possibly coming, I guess, is what
Possibly,
they
yeah,
phrased it at.
yeah. So just mention it, but we'll move on. All right. So next game I got here on our list that we played. Well, I played, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Darksiders 3. I've been playing it on Xbox One X. Um, it plays. See, the old Darksiders, they played like Legend of Zelda mixed with like God of War a little bit. And I've never finished any of these games. I always get like pretty far into them and then just kind of I just lose interest a little bit. And I mean, I'm still playing this one right now, but it's been kind of a chore a little bit to play it. Um, they copy the Dark Souls format of like battling and stuff like that, but they didn't do it that well. There's a lot of like see like with Dark Souls, I'm not a fan of those types of games mainly because of the difficulty and I suck at some of those games. But at least when you die in those games, you know what you did wrong and like how to actually beat them. This one is you get some really cheap deaths that aren't fair where it's like the camera doesn't rotate to show you a guy coming, to the side of you when you're locking onto another guy, it locks onto somebody else in the background. Like there's kind of like almost like little bugs that just hamper the gameplay. Um It is a fun game, though. I mean, I am enjoying it. The story is okay, but this is one of those ones. Like, if anything, I'd recommend people to pick up on sale. Uh, Probably around like $30 or under. I wouldn't spend the full 60 on it. Um, I did want to mention though, the guys who made this game or published it, THQ Nordic. The one reason I bought this game is because like I enjoyed the other Darksiders, and I don't know if you've been paying attention, Andrew, to like what THQ Nordic has been doing, but they've been buying a lot of game series.
Yes.
And like some of them I love. So like I mean I was really excited for Dark Souls, like and how they were gonna. I'm sorry, Darksiders, and how they were kind of reviving it. And they've already greenlit a fourth one for the last Horseman of the Apocalypse. So I definitely want to support them because they bought one of my favorite games of last generation. That was Kingdoms of Amalur. Did you play that one at all?
See, I'm not really big into any of their series, but you know, I got a lot of respect for that those series. But I haven't really played any of it, mainly due to just not something that I've ever really dabbled in.
Yeah. See, like Kingdoms of Amalur was it a Kurt Schilling's company, the one that went under, and it was actually really like it surprised me because I never bought it day one. I got it on sale, like I think after the studio was already going under, and it played a lot like Fable actually. So it was like a way to have like the next Fable, but not like it had that same kind of combat feel to me, and they recently picked that up as well too, and I don't know if they're going to do like an HD re-release of it or if they can continue that series, but that was something that was really awesome.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I haven't finished the game yet, so I'm going to hold all of my complete judgments on that until the end. I mean, the story may get better. We'll see.
Or worse.
Yeah, or yeah. I mean, possibly. That's one of the other things actually I want to mention real quick. I'm at a part right now which I gave up on earlier today. And the save systems on the game are like the old generation, like I almost feel like PlayStation 2 era style, where it's like I'm dying and it's taking me back like 30 minutes ago, like before I saved and stuff like that. And
it's frustrating.
Yeah, and there's no like I can't manually save either. It's you only save at like these little I think they're called serpent holes, and this one vendor comes out and like you can upgrade your character there and all types of other stuff, but you die, you go all the way back, and you got to, go back through and defeat all the bad guys you already beat.
Dead Space.
Yeah. That's a.
By the way, speaking of Dead Space, if anyone ever listens to this podcast, that's a part of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess no, they're not part of that team anymore. I think I'm pretty sure EA got rid of that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But if anyone ever listens to this, make a new Dead Space. This is some of the best times I've ever had in gaming. Was playing Dead Space.
Oh,
all three of them. All three of them.
Dead Space 2. I remember picking that up day one, and my sister's boyfriend at the time was like living with us, and he was freaking out more than me because the opening of that is like you're in your straitjacket and you're running through the hallways and like the stuff's popping out at you.
Yeah, I mean that game was ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way.
It was
way ahead of its time.
I still remember Darksiders 1. Again, both of the openings of those games like wowed me because Dead Space 1, when they open and it's like you see this like out the spaceship window and you see space around and everything. Yeah. That I remember being like,
isn't the opening scene of that? Are you looking out the window and then the body hits the window?
Yes, that's right. I remember something happening, but I just remember the graphics on that blowing me away when I first saw it.
Can you imagine what that would look like now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they dissolved that team, and then because I think they're working on. Were they the ones working on the new Star Wars game or a new Star Wars?
Mm-hmm. And they like everything else seems to be happening now, shelved.
Mm-hmm. And that's a game we're supposed to get a new Star Wars this year. That one they announced at E3. Was it 2 years ago or maybe it was last year?
It was last year. They did a little like they sat next to the guy and they were like, "Oh, Star Wars is coming," and they were like, oh, "Okay."
Yeah,
that's about all they said.
Yeah, they haven't showed any gameplay or anything, but
it said like the I forget the title of it. They said the title of it.
They
And I
did say the title of it. Um, That'll be something I have to look up here in a little bit. Um, but yeah, that's a. We'll find out, I guess, this E3. Uh, and speaking of E3 too, you were
oh,
talking about right
the
before
Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, yeah. What team is
Yeah,
making
Star
that?
Wars Jedi Fallen Order, releasing holiday 2019.
Is that it's not Respawn doing that, is it?
It's on EA's website as from Respawn Entertainment.
Okay, so the guys who did Titanfall.
Yeah, it says an original Star Wars story coming from Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah, they with Titanfall 2, they blew me away with Titanfall 2.
Well, Titanfall 2, let's just say that should have won some awards for Game of the Year. That
Yeah,
game, it's just a shame because EA completely sucks at marketing anything that they
that
do
isn't Call of
outside.
Duty or
Well,
other than Battlefield.
yeah, Battlefield, and even Battlefield they messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah,
Yeah, they should have waited on Battlefield this year, until it was done.
which it scares me because this Star Wars game is. I got major expectations for the Star Wars game, and in the hands of EA, I don't know that it's something that I don't think I'm going to get what I'm expecting, and that's
Mm,
unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, and they can the woman from the Uncharted series, the writer, who was penning the other one that they canceled, the other
Yeah,
Star Wars, Amy Hennig.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how the story is going to be on this. I know they said they're using
Trust me,
some
I
of
got all the worries in the world.
the. Yeah, they let me down on the last two Battlefronts. I was really excited for both of them, and I
Yeah,
didn't see how
well,
they could have screwed
when
up
you
that.
lock your entire game behind a paywall,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it is what it is.
That's one of those ones where it was coming out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, all the DLC will be free, all the maps will be free." And I'm like, "How can they screw this up?" And they found a way.
They screw everything up, man.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. That's the difference between when you just play sports games and then you dabble into what the majority of video game players play,
Mm-hmm.
and you try and use the same formula that sports video game players buy into and make it into that. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, people want to buy in sports games like the Ultimate Team packs and stuff like that. Like, they're into that.
Yeah.
When you buy a video game and play an actual video game as a player, like, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing they always do at E3, which they always show off their sports games.
Yeah.
And I buy Madden almost every year. I mean, I
Yes.
bought it last year because Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, so I'm right there with it. But
little shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah, let's hopefully next time we film this, they're still going. But other than that, but yeah, they always bring out like athletes or something. They show off the sports games every year at E3, which I think is kind of weird because it's like they don't change the formula up that much. And I don't know. Do you feel like they should do you think the sports games have a place at E3, or do you think they should be kind of their own separate event?
See, I think everything has a place at E3.
Okay. No, I'm completely fine with that. I mean, I've heard people say that because they usually bring out sports athletes on the stage, and it's like,
Yeah. I think it's a turnoff for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Um, I kind of like how they did it last year. It was kind of like EA Play. So they
Okay,
kind of just went boom, 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 and didn't really
yeah,
spend a lot of time on anything but really Battlefield.
that's
Um,
yeah, they did focus on that.
uh, but I mean, I think it would be cool if they did something along the lines of like, here's our main titles. These are the ones you expect. This is what's changing in the ones you expect. Then here's all the new stuff and all you need to know. And spent more time on their high quality games because, like you said, what they changed the roster, add 2 new features. That's about it. Well, I think everything. Going back to the original question, I think everything has a place.
has a place. Yeah, I do kind of feel like at E3, I think I mean, I usually kind of space out, honestly, when they start talking about sports games, but I do feel like they should focus a little bit more on like the new tech they're bringing to the games.
I
Um,
agree.
because they definitely have some cool things, like what they've done with hockey. I feel like in the last like 10 years, and like with the stick handle
Yeah,
and everything else. Even though I don't buy them, but I'm still kind of blown
yeah.
away about like what they do.
All that stuff's fine and dandy, but like when you're putting all your money into these games, and then a Star Wars game that you could make all the money in the world on, you completely tank.
Yeah, they
There's
dropped the
just
ball.
something wrong. Like you're doing something wrong, and EA as themselves needs to fix that.
Yeah. Speaking of E3, you brought this up before the podcast. Sony is skipping E3 next year. I figure I mix that in a little bit here.
I'm just gonna be blatantly honest,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure you know how I feel about this. And I apologize for the language, but Sony, you're a piece of shit. Like E3 to me, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say, and then
No, go right ahead. Yeah.
you can say whatever you want after it, whether you agree with me or disagree. Um, E3 is a place where a lot of the times, and I know me and you do it, but we don't go to the extent of going out to there. People take vacations and plan their weeks around E3 because it's a place you go to 1 week out of the year where you can play any game you want, basically on the floor. All your favorite ones, whether you're an Xbox guy, PlayStation guy, Nintendo guy, you can sit there and watch all the press conferences. If you were on the, like, if you're like us and you have all three consoles, you want to know what everyone's coming out with, what you're expecting, and you get it all in one place. Sony is shitting on that. And Sony obviously think, and the problem with the way I think Sony is doing it is they think they're too good for E3. We sold 9.5 million or whatever the hell number consoles they just reached. We don't need E3 to sell our products to gamers. And you saw that coming last year. Last year, their E3 press conference
It was not good.
was the most boring thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. That you could tell they didn't care about it. The problem is for me as a gamer, Sony's putting me off now. I don't even want to support you. Like, if they didn't have God of War, SpiderMan, Last of Us, I wouldn't even own a PlayStation. The only reason I ever turned that console on is to play those three games.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever's exclusive. Like, I played Detroit.
Yeah.
Like, whatever's exclusive. They have a lot of great exclusives, which everyone knows. That's why it sold 9.5 million consoles, or, again, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, the exclusives, I mean, you're right, definitely have sold it. I mean, an Xbox stumbling out of the gate, too.
Yes. But I think that's going to change next generation. And we'll get to that at some point in time. Yeah. But probably a later podcast. But
yeah,
Sony, what I'm trying to say is Sony pisses me off. You leave E3, you're leaving the gamers behind because you think you're too good for this thing, and it's not right. And E3 to me will always be this major thing, but maybe that comes back and bites Sony in the ass. Maybe Xbox and Nintendo jump all over this year and load up their lineups unlike they've loaded before. Maybe Xbox comes out with, like, I don't know if necessarily they're going to announce a new console.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it. Is I do think they have the PlayStation 5 cooking, and I've heard
I think a PlayStation 5 comes out into this year, early next year.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think I'm hoping it's the end of this year because, like, as you know, I'm more of a Sony fanboy. Like, I mean, you're more Xbox, but I have found myself recently playing more on the Xbox, mainly because of, like, Game Pass. I think that is a complete game changer. I
It's
know
the best value in gaming right now.
yeah. Now I know PlayStation has a PlayStation Now, and they recently added downloads to it where you can download the game to your system, which helps. But just the game selection, I feel, in the Game Pass has been way better because it has been Xbox exclusives, which I mean there aren't that many, but day one they're on there.
And isn't Game Pass half the price of PlayStation now?
It may be. I'm not
I think
100% sure.
PlayStation now is $20 a month. I think
It might be.
I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah.
I don't. They're never getting that $20 a month from me.
Oh yeah. Not right now, unless they start saying you get the exclusives day one. If I can
Well,
get
yeah.
yeah, and with the way they release exclusives, I mean definitely. But I really do hope that they do have the PlayStation 5. But you brought up a great point about people taking off and stuff like that for E3, and like it's supposed to be about the gamers, and when
That's the whole
Sony
thing
did.
E3 is. It's
Mhm,
all about the gamers. It should always be about the gamers.
mhm,
We're the ones that make it possible for them.
yeah, and but yeah, so it's like Sony hasn't announced if they're like when they're doing anything, if they're going to make any announcements. They canceled PSX this year, and I do think you do make a good point that Sony they're getting a little too big
Well,
for
cocky.
themselves. Yeah, they're getting cocky right now. But I also do think they don't have anything to really show for the PlayStation 4, at least at E3. I think everything in development, like we've seen everything we're getting for the PlayStation 4. I don't think
Yes.
there's no more surprises. Everything else is PlayStation 5. So I do feel like they may be thinking, unless not to have another like disappointing E3, because last year they showed off pretty much 4 games. It was Last of Us, Spider-Man. I don't even know if they showed off
That's
that
stranding.
Death Stranding, which we didn't really see anything again. We have
Yeah.
no idea when the hell that's coming. And then what
I
was the
think
other?
that's a PlayStation 5 launch title.
Yeah, but they showed off those games. They had like these weird intermissions between every game. They like they shuffled all the people into different rooms, and then they just they went into like a weird post conference thing after like 4 games, and we're like, wait, was that it? Like they were
Yeah.
showing off some other things, but nothing exciting. And I was kind of hoping maybe they would go to like what Nintendo did, because like I mean Nintendo dropped out of an E3 kind of. I don't know if they skipped an E3 or they did have them in a row, but they started doing the Nintendo Directs because they
Yeah.
used to have the on stage thing, and I remember them some horrible press conferences from them, and I really do like the Directs because they always feel like a little holiday whenever they decide to pop up with one
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Nintendo's got some big news, which is always really cool.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's, you know.
But no, you are right though. In for competition's sake, I really do hope Nintendo and Microsoft take this E3 and they just shove it right down Sony's throat
Well,
because
that's what
it's just better for us. Yeah.
Major Nelson tweeted today that he's already having meetings about E3, and we're 152 days away out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's already attending meetings based on E3. So Xbox is cooking something,
Oh yeah.
and their next phase is to get the exclusives, like have the most exclusives possible,
Yeah.
and
Well,
to compete with Sony on the next generation.
well,
Because this
well
generation's already Sony's
oh
obviously
yeah.
on it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. Sony's well. I mean, I don't know if you really consider them this generation, but the way the Switch is selling too. I mean,
Well, the Switch, I don't,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if you
and,
like.
and it's not to discredit the Switch,
Mm-mm.
but when I'm thinking console generations, it's Xbox versus PlayStation.
Yeah.
I don't
And
do Xbox versus PlayStation versus Nintendo
Yeah, Nintendo's just in a like own little subcategory of their
because
own.
Nintendo's going to sell regardless because
Mhm.
people are loyal to Nintendo. Like people bought the Wii, what is it, the Wii U?
I'm one of them.
People bought that, and that was probably one of the worst consoles.
Yeah, I mean you're seeing that a lot too, though. Like the Wii U games, there were some really good ones. I mean they're porting them to the Switch
Yeah,
now. It's just that nobody bought
just
that.
people didn't buy it.
Hmm. And yeah, I mean that was just they didn't
Which
they
the
didn't read the
new
market
Super
on that one.
Mario, the Super Mario Brothers U
Yeah,
comes out
this week I think.
Friday.
Hmm.
Yeah, Friday.
Yep. And speaking of this weekend, I think Friday as well. I brought this up earlier before the podcast to you too. I wanted to talk about Resident Evil 2 is releasing a demo that day, which I don't know if this is just clever marketing. I don't know what to think of this one. They're releasing a demo. It's a 30-minute demo, and it's a what I've been reading according to like Forbes, and I've got like an article here from GameStop. It's called the One Shot Demo, and it's you got 30 minutes to play it, and after that, you're done. It just goes to a trailer after that. If you beat the mission, it unlocks like a new trailer for you to watch, but you have 30 minutes to play it. If you beat that mission, you can replay that mission, but that's it. After 30 minutes, it's just done. So I'm sure there's going to be a workaround where you can like maybe delete it and re-download it to play it again. But I don't know. It's just kind of a weird marketing strategy. Like, because
No,
like,
I agree. I've never heard of that before, but yeah,
like I know Nintendo's done like the limited time like online demos with like ARMS and like Splatoon and stuff like that, where they had like a beta test launch.
I don't even want to talk about that game, Arms.
Yeah, that one I was really excited for that, and that let me down. I
That
thought
was
they
the
were gonna.
worst thing in the world.
I was excited for that because of what they did with Splatoon, and I didn't think Splatoon when it first showed looked all that interesting to me. Like it was something I was a big Nintendo fan. I was gonna play it, but
Yeah,
the way they supported that game after launch really impressed me because like every time I went on there was something new, a new map, a new weapon. And I mean, with Splatoon 2, they're still doing that. I'm still
yeah,
seeing constant updates, and I love that. Like, and it's you don't have to pay any extra money for it. It's that $60 gets you in the door, and that's it. Of course, they came out with the DLC, more story chapters, but that was like $20. But I was like, it's worth it.
yeah.
You
But
guys keep.
$20 versus what you're paying for some
Mhm.
other games now.
Oh yeah,
I spent $20 on Fortnite in like 2 hours.
yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was really weird how they were doing that as a demo because some of the most famous demos in like PlayStation history were Resident Evil ones. Like a lot of people still talk
Yeah,
about the Resident Evil 2 demo. Um, Again, one of the guys on my podcast, Michael Huber from Easy Allies, talks about the Resident Evil 4 demo and his mother driving him out to a remote GameStop, like that you got a disc for pre-ordering it like ahead of time,
yeah,
and she drove him like 2 hours to this GameStop to get it. And I mean, a lot of people have connections with those demos, and I'm
yeah.
wondering if more people are going to kind of adapt this in the future, where you get to play 30 minutes and that's it.
See, I don't know. That's a good. I mean, we're gonna find out. I guess we're gonna
Yeah,
find out how successful this is.
yeah. All right, let's move on to something you definitely know a lot more about than me. You're a big Fortnite streamer and also Black Ops. Uh,
Probably more Black Ops now. That
Black Ops now. Now, why are you moving towards Black Ops now?
um, I'm a lot better at it. um, I mean, I've always been a big Call of Duty guy, and I'm still a big Fortnite guy. But I don't know. I love the realism of blackout mode on Call of Duty Black Ops. Um, it's it's just unmatched. Like
Mhm.
you drop in, you have to literally assemble your gun basically, like with attachments and whatever else. In between like med kits, like you pick up body armor. But I mean, Fortnite is one of those games that is going to be around for forever.
Mhm.
Like, no one's ever going to fully stop playing Fortnite.
Yeah, so you
People
think it's
might
gonna be
leave
like
for a
a
month and go back to it. Like, it's just Fortnite constantly changes the game.
yeah,
So, like, every week with their weekly update, they're adding different things. Like this week, they just added a suppressed sniper to the game, which adds a whole new element. Now, if someone takes a sniper shot at you, you can't hear in your headset like, oh crap, he's shooting from over here. Like,
okay.
so it just changes the element. Like they added planes they added, which planes need to be completely changed, but that's besides the point. But like that's the difference. Like I think Blackout is going to get old at some point because they're not changing the things. But that maybe they do. Maybe they do at some point. But
The one thing that I think about is last year at this time, PUBG was the most dominant game like on the
yeah,
planet. Like everybody was talking about that for like game of the year. You know, there's a like over Legend of Zelda, which to me is now kind of ludicrous. I'm like, you got to give it to Zelda or any
yeah.
other game other than that. And I mean, PUBG is still popular. I mean, I know on mobiles it's big.
PUBG doesn't have the financial or creative minds
Hmm.
attached to that game to keep it where it needs to be.
Yeah, and the fact
That's a problem.
it's crazy because I mean, PUBG was like $20 to get in to play it.
Yes,
Fortnite's free, and
yes. And the thing with that is Epic Games is a lot bigger than Blue Balls Entertainment is.
mhm.
Um, and Activision and Treyarch are obviously bigger than Blue Balls as well. So they did the thing with that is PUBG couldn't hold on to it because they can't change the game. People get tired of playing the same thing over and over again.
Yes,
Fortnite, people could say Fortnite's the same thing over and over again. It's not. Every time you drop into that game, something else happens, and it's the same thing in PUBG. Anything else can happen, but you're not changing the like different aspects of the game. You're not adding different like guns and different. Okay, you get this now. You get this, whatever, and they just don't have. They just don't have it, and it's a shame for them, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Um,
I,
yeah,
I'm
Fortnite's.
I'm definitely happy with what Epic Games has done with all of the money they're making.
Yes.
Like they launched that Epic Game Store, which it seems to be like giving more money back to the
Yeah.
developers. It seems like a good thing. I mean, we'll find out in time. I mean,
And
I love
even
it. They do a free game every like 2 weeks or something like that for you to download.
and even with Epic, they're hosting Fortnite tournaments weekly,
Yeah,
daily, and in the summertime they had the huge summer royale with all the pro players, and they're giving out the most money that pro players ever could win in a prize pool.
yeah.
Like it's unheard of. And as big of an esports guy as I am, like that's unprecedented. Like it's taken it to a new level. And then, the stuff Ninja's done with it, like Ninja's just changing gaming for everybody. Like
Oh yeah,
it
with the
putting gaming
celebrities.
on the map.
Yeah, with like him and Drake being on the stream like that.
Yeah.
That was like national
It was the
news. It
most
was crazy.
watched. Yeah. It was on ESPN. It was the front page of ESPN. A video game was the front page of ESPN. Like,
Mhm. I mean, you said this earlier. Like you're a big nerd. I'm a big nerd. I'm I still have a hard time kind of wrapping my head around the whole esports league and stuff like that, and the
yeah.
the amount of craziness that it is. Because I mean, I guess this is just the older man in me, but I still feel weird. Like I do watch some people on Twitch and stuff like that, but just the celebrity, like what's the word I'm looking for here? Just how these kids have become celebrities, just
yeah.
broadcasting themselves. It's just still unreal to me. It's crazy.
Like, I've I think I'm a bigger esports guy probably than you are,
Oh yeah, definitely,
right?
definitely, yeah.
Um, but I mean, I've been watching Call of Duty like professional Call of Duty
Hmm.
for like Nade Shot was with Big T on Optic Gaming, and I don't know if you even know who they are,
No, yeah, not really.
but like if you're a Call of Duty player, like you know what I'm talking about, like there was like back in the day, like it was just like these little LAN tournaments where it would just be like you would
Yeah,
look over your computer screen and your other guy is right there and you're just talking crap to him the entire time, and like Like I always thought that was awesome. Like, oh, dude, like if I could go play like a video game somewhere, but like
All right.
the thing that took everything off was Halo. Halo's what
Yeah,
made esports popular. Halo put everything on the map, and people forget about that.
that's
And
true.
because now Halo, obviously, with ever since Bungie stopped making it, has been slowly declining.
Hmm.
But
Now everything Bungie's making is declining too right now.
yeah, but like that's a huge thing, and from where Halo started it to now where Fortnite's taking it as a literally a profession, you're gonna have that as a job.
Yeah,
Like it's wild, and I love to see it because the passion that I think me and you both have for video games is something that we need. Like I want to grow, and I want more opportunities for people. Like what if I ever have kids, like to
yeah,
be, if that's what they want to do, that's a realistic job.
yeah.
Like like now it's getting more realistic where you can be a not maybe a pro player, but like something in video game industry that's like whether you're casting or whatever, like it's a realistic goal now.
Nah, it's crazy to me. Like just wrapping my head around that. That like get paid to play video games.
Yeah,
It's the American dream. But do you think anything is gonna dethrone Fortnite this year? Do you think?
I don't think anything's ever going to dethrone Fortnite. In terms of, I mean, every game's going to have that point where
Mhm.
they die off a little bit, and I think Fortnite might be going through that right now
Yeah,
with the planes because a lot of people are getting turned off by it. But with the fresh updates, it's
Mhm.
never going to keep people away too long. Like me right now, I'm not playing it, but I'll be back in a month or so.
Oh yeah,
So like, I don't think anything dethrones it. I think their biggest competition is Call of Duty coming back because Call of Duty took a big hit with World War II last year.
that's true. Yeah,
Everyone hated that game, and there was like the most popular pro players were considering retiring because they were like Call of Duty's dead now, and Black Ops 4 revived all that. So if the World League didn't even start yet, so once that starts and that's gaining more steam, I mean
oh,
it's 100% possible.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard people say Call of Duty's dead, and the next year they come back because what was it, Advanced Warfare,
Yeah.
the one in space,
Well, Infinite Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
Infinite. Yeah, that's right. Uh,
But that, I mean, and the next Call of Duty is rumored to be Ghost 2, which is something people have been waiting for a while, or a new Modern Warfare. And Modern Warfare is some of the greatest ones of
yeah,
all time.
definitely. Sorry, I'm adjusting my lights here.
You're fine. You're fine.
Let me go to let's see. That's better. Yeah, it's better. Um, it's yeah, because like I just remember thinking last year with PUBG, and when they were coming out their numbers, they were like they had like like a million consecutive players online at the same
Yeah.
time, and like that was like big news, and I was like,
Even
holy crap.
H1Z1 at the time.
Mhm.
H1Z1 was popular.
Yeah,
Now no one plays that.
yeah,
I'd be shocked if you go into an H1Z1 game and you're not waiting like 15 minutes for a lobby.
yeah.
But going back to the original question, I'd still pick probably if I had to make a choice, if I could either play Blackout or Fortnite the rest of my life, I'm
Yeah.
going Fortnite.
So
I mean, I love Call of Duty Black Ops, but I mean Blackout, but
yeah. But I mean, that's the thing with Call of Duty. There's a new one every year.
yes.
So that's the thing that I think will kind of turn players off because I mean that's kind of like what turned me off with it. I mean, I still have it. I love playing the zombie mode and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but like I got I was a little mad because like I went on there for the zombie mode and I saw that one of the maps was like for DLC. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like that's fine. Like I'll buy the DLC for it. But in
Yeah,
order to get it, you got to buy like the season pass. Like you can't
yeah.
just buy
Mhm.
individual,
What is
sections.
this? $40 or something like that?
So
$40.
it was a little too expensive for what I wanted to,
Yeah,
just for
yeah.
me for zombies. So, but I mean that was just me. And what
See,
I got,
with Call of Duty, it's a it's different for me because I play extremely more competitively than the average person probably does. I mean, I'm streaming it 8 hours every day playing multiplayer, but yeah, I mean, well, Fortnite definitely is still the king, and the king isn't getting dethroned anytime soon.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, moving on to the next game here. I just want to briefly talk about these two games. He's actually bought one of them when I bought Black Ops because I got Black Ops on sale from Best Buy, and I picked up Astrobot for PlayStation VR. And PlayStation VR I bought on launch day. I don't regret buying it at all. I found some really cool games on there, but it's one of the things that's been sitting on my shelf for a while, and I haven't really used a lot in the past year. And the reason being is because like the setup's easy, but it's setup, and I don't want to do it every single time I want to play this thing. But Astrobot is definitely a game that I am just absolutely amazed at. I love. I've heard everybody talking about it before, how great it was, and how it was a game changer for virtual reality games, and it really truly is. Like anybody buying a VR, a PlayStation VR, needs to get this game. It is what Mario 64 did for like 3D games. It does it for virtual reality. And that's a lot of people have said that, and I'm copying it too because it it's just a platformer in VR that just works so well. The boss fights are interesting in design. Um, the controls work just the way they should. There's nothing kind of wonky or anything like that. My wife has pretty much taken it over. She refers to it as robot babies, and she'll set up the VR to play it herself. Uh,
It's fun.
but I just can't say enough positive things about it. And then the other one, another virtual reality game, was Beat Saber, which is Star Wars meets Guitar Hero.
Okay.
And it's addictive. The only thing that kind of stinks about it is there's only like 11 songs on there right now. But it's if you want to get a workout playing VR, it's you will work up a sweat fast in that game.
To
But
be
it's
honest, I
definitely
don't think I want to work out in general.
it's so good. I'll have to get you in at one time. But I just wanted to mention it. I kind of want to bring up virtual reality games at least like once a podcast to kind of talk about them. Just
They're still
because,
a thing.
yeah. And I mean, they've been having a good growth. I know PlayStation sold a ton of the VR headsets. It seems like they're still supporting it. I hope if they do PlayStation 5, it's incorporated some way. Like I hope this just doesn't go like
Like
the
the
way of the
Connect.
Virtual Boy and I never use it again. But
Like the Connect.
yeah, the Kinect too.
Rest in
Speaking
peace.
of which, of the Kinect, I bought one used a while ago for like $10 from GameStop because I was like, oh, cool, for $10 for like broadcasting on Twitch
Yeah.
or Mixer or something like that. That'd be great to have. That USB attachment at the time was people were selling it for $200 online because Microsoft discontinued it.
Yeah.
And I just found out yesterday that third parties now have started selling it for like $50, but I'm still like, I don't want to pay $50 to have my Kinect work again. I don't
Yeah.
really care that much.
Yeah, because the new Xboxes don't have the Connect adapter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
So I
forgot
still
about
got it sitting in my box. If anybody needs a Kinect for an old Xbox, I still got it.
that.
All right. And last game we're going to talk about today, well, sort of, Super Smash Brothers for the Switch. What do you think of Smash Brothers?
I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the coolest and most entertaining bang for your buck games out there. Like the whole spirits thing
Yes.
is like you can sit there and play that for hours and
Yeah.
just it's a different experience every time. Like you're not playing like it's this if you die, yeah, it's technically the same fight, but not really because I mean anything can happen. So
Yeah.
like it's absolutely I it's I can't speak enough good things about that game. Nintendo did a fantastic job.
Yeah. So if anybody hasn't played it that's listening, they introduced, well, you're talking about the spirits, but this section called World of Light. and they found a way to kind of incorporate different video game characters that aren't in the game. So they did like one of the spirits that I love that they did really early on, and it's not really a spoiler, but they had a Snorlax fight where it was, I think it was the King K. Rool they did, or they did somebody, but they couldn't move fast. They had a crap ton of HP before you could kill them, and like a really powerful attacks. And it was just smartly designed where it was like, that's what it would feel like if you were fighting a Snorlax in Smash Brothers.
Yes, exactly.
And they have spirits that will do things like, for instance, there's a stage that's very windy, and one of the spirits will weigh you down a lot so you don't blow around as much. So you have to like equip that spirit to your character when you do that fight to help you get through it. And this
Which
map
I
is,
think is the coolest thing of it all is like is having that like having those different spirits, like it changes the game.
oh yeah.
Like I don't know, I just think that's a cool.
You know,
Most games don't do that.
I've not finished World of Light, obviously, because it's apparently like 40 hours long. I've heard that they go into a lot of Nintendo lore. There's apparently like sections that are like from Donkey Kong on Super Nintendo, like a recreation
Okay.
of the actual map.
Yeah, I didn't get there yet.
Yeah, it's 40 hours, so it's one of those things I have not gotten that far in. I have unlocked all the characters, um, and I enjoyed doing that immensely. I am really looking forward to Joker, their first DLC pack.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. But
I think that's the coolest thing they did, by the way.
oh, that announcement,
Yes.
that was something I was going to bring up when you were talking about E3. Is
The Game
the
Awards.
Game Awards the last like 3 years, man, have gone up crazily.
Yes.
And I did one of the podcasts I was listening to, other than this one, which I mean, this is the only one you should have listened to.
Yeah.
The guy there actually did a lot of backstage work for the Game Awards, and I was always
Yes.
wondering about, like, when they're doing this pre stuff, how much do they know what's coming and stuff like that? Like, do they know the trailers? But he actually is like, they didn't. Everything that was referred to, like, I think they said the code name for that trailer that Nintendo for Joker was called like Grand Slam. And
They thought it was a baseball game.
yeah, he was thinking it was a baseball game. He like, they're trying to connect all the dots and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
what's
Which is
the guy
cool,
who?
though, because then that keeps everyone on the edge of their seat. Like, what is coming? Like,
Yeah, and the guy who hosts it, is it Jeff Keighley?
Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, he's the
Or
only one who.
Jeff
No.
Knightley?
Is it Keighley? Oh,
I don't remember. I'm gonna hate myself that I don't remember this because very important part of the gaming industry.
Oh, he's responsible for the Game Awards.
Yes.
I'm looking it up right now. I should know this. Yeah, Jeff Keighley. I did get it right. All right, cool. Didn't sound right though. But yeah, he's like apparently like the only one who knows about these trailers, and he keeps it tight-lipped. Like, he doesn't tell anybody. I mean, I guess.
Which is good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm trying to think, what was the other big Game Awards announcement that we got? The one from we got the Xbox dropped a bunch on Game Awards. They had a lot of big announcements too.
Which they need.
Yeah.
I just like the Game Awards is just a celebration, regardless if you're an Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, whatever guy.
You got them all.
You can watch that and love it. Which the fact that they brought all three execs out
that was nice.
Was incredible. The fact that they all even agreed to be on the same stage, I'm kind of shocked at, because what's his name from Sony, Jack Tretton?
Yeah.
He bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, he kind of does me too. Even though I'm a big Sony fan, like, yeah, bring back Kevin Butler.
But like Phil Spencer from Xbox, I absolutely love. And
Oh,
maybe I'm biased because
well, no, I mean that's the thing. He turned Microsoft around. I mean, because they got out of the gate very poorly for
because
this
well, it
generation.
used to be um, what's his face?
I know you're
No,
talking
I was
about
thinking I was thinking of Phil Moore, but he was
Lionhead, right? And then like
maybe it
EA.
was him. And then he went to EA. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Hmm.
Regardless, Phil Spencer has done so much for Xbox, and I feel like he doesn't get enough credit in some ways
Yeah.
because of them getting destroyed by Sony right now. But like just the fact that they're all out on there and that Jeff was able to get everyone out there, it's monumental. That you'll never see that probably again. So the fact that we saw it once is
Oh, I mean, looping
awesome.
back around too to Smash Brothers. I was hoping it was a Smash Brothers announcement too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was hoping Reggie would just drop the mic and be like,
And I love Reggie too.
"Oh
Reggie's
yeah."
like not to crap on Reggie. I love Reggie. Like
Mhm.
I think he's awesome. That's just Jack Trenton.
Yeah.
You pulled out
Nah.
E3. I still don't like you.
Uh, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna talk more about Smash Brothers coming up, especially the new DLCs. Whenever whoever they announce, I'm hearing rumors Nintendo's got another Nintendo Direct coming around.
It would be
Which is
cool if every DLC was from like if they did like not that they would, and I highly doubt that it would happen, but if like Master Chief or something was a DLC.
Well, that was the rumor with Banjo because I mean Banjo Kazooie
Yeah.
was on N64. That 360 game was an abomination. Like I mean, he saw his heyday on Nintendo 64, and but the problem with that, which somebody pointed out, all the Super Smash Brothers characters, none of them are from Western video games. They all come from Japan. They're
Yeah.
all Japanese brand. And I mean, if Master Chief or whoever else would get in, like they would be the first Western character. So I'd love to see that. I'd love to see them.
I don't think it would be Master Chief, but the fact that the Persona 5 that means shows they're working with Sony and outside companies to bring characters into their game.
Oh yeah, I mean you got Metal Gear Solid too.
Yeah,
You got Final Fantasy VII Cloud. I mean that
yeah.
was never. We're getting it on Switch this year, but we never had it on a Nintendo console
So
before.
I'm curious to see if maybe what the heck's its face? Not that it would honestly it wouldn't be as good. They'd have to do another one, but the Fox game they came out with Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he was a character because he's still cartoonish
Hmm.
enough. Um, I don't know. I don't really know who they would include from an Xbox perspective, but I would have to figure they're doing an Xbox One
Oh
because
yeah.
I don't think they would work with Sony and then be like, "Oh, Xbox." Like,
Yeah, and
screw.
they've had a really good relationship with Microsoft over the last year, like with Minecraft
Yeah, yeah.
and cross-platform play and everything like that. Um, it's a new
But I
Nintendo.
don't know who they would do it. I don't know who they would do for Xbox.
Hmm.
I think Master Chief would obviously be the biggest name.
Yeah,
It's not like Sony included Nathan Drake.
yeah. I mean, back to like N64 character. I mean, I don't think this would be gigantic news. I mean, something I'd be excited about if they did like Conquer. I'd love
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see that. I mean, his foul mouth though you can't really put in the game, but I'd love to see Conquer back in there or something like that.
Now, side note, do you think we'll get what's that game with Ness that you like?
Oh, Earthbound.
Earthbound. Do you think we get a new Earthbound game this year?
I'm still holding out hope for that. See, the problem that the reason we haven't got an Earthbound is actually this is actually perfect. You brought up the right time. Super Smash Brothers is like HAL Laboratories and the guy is responsible for Earthbound, and I mean they keep making Smash Brothers, so I guess there hasn't been time. But I did hear a rumor last year around your E3 they had another team working on like an HD remaster of Mother 3, which was, I guess you could consider like Earthbound 2. It was
Yeah.
on Game Boy Advance. We never got it here in the US. I have played most of it, but I mean, trying to play it with English translation
Yeah.
and everything like that's kind of a pain. But I actually got it on cartridge, and that's one of the ones I got to go back and play. But I am really holding out hope for that. That I'll lose my mind on that one.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough Mountain Dew to resuscitate
I do love my do.
you.
What was the other game that I've been holding out hope for, but I can't remember right now. You reminded me, and I just lost it. Anyway, I guess perfect transition here. Let's finish up this podcast with our most anticipated games. Now, I made this up the first quarter because we both picked games that are coming out in like the next, like 3-4 months here.
Yes.
Um,
Well, and the reason I think that's good is because all the games we know coming out right now, outside of the projected holiday 2019 games,
yeah.
We know these are official release dates. Because once E3 comes, then we get official release dates for everything else. It's just holiday, it's not just holiday anymore. So, yeah, what are you looking forward to most?
Right now, I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 2, which I brought up earlier about the demo. Um, Resident Evil 2 was a game that I kind of always, or actually Resident Evil in general was a game I always kind of admired from afar because I was a very big Nintendo gamer growing up, and my mother, like, it was a mature game. So, I mean, I was a
Yeah,
kid, so she was actually paying attention to the ratings and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't think you should play those games yet.
yeah.
Um, and my intro to the series was late. It was Resident Evil 5. That was
Okay.
like the first one I went through and played. And just the gameplay of, I mean, I know it was more of an action oriented Resident Evil. I mean, the story was nothing extravagant, but that gameplay loop just got me addicted.
Yeah,
I love the shooting and stuff like that in it. I did love the cheesy dialogue and everything.
yeah,
Um, but then, I mean, Resident Evil 6 wasn't very good. I'm actually replaying that now to kind of remind myself. But my favorite games of the last uh, Resident Evil series was actually the Revelations 1. I really enjoyed
okay.
that, and that was originally on 3DS, and that blew me away with the graphics and the gameplay on that. That was it harkened back to like Resident Evil 1. It was a smaller environment. They just put you on a cruise ship, with the zombie outbreak going on, and the story was good and engaging, and the
Yeah,
the combat was great. And I mean, I liked Resident Evil 7. Um, I really liked how they freshened up the whole formula because I mean they were going down that action oriented hole, but I wasn't as big a fan as the first person view. I don't know,
yeah,
for some reason I just like Resident Evil third person view. Um, and Resident Evil 2 was when I replayed a couple years ago. I played for the first time a couple years ago. Uh, I played it actually on the Sega Dreamcast. I hunted down a copy of that because it
yeah,
was graphically the most impressive version of it.
yeah, yeah.
So I always just wanted to play that game. I always loved the idea of Raccoon City. Um, I just loved the way that game looked when it came out. And I mean, now it's like the most beloved one in the whole franchise. So I'm just excited to see what they've done to it. Everybody I've heard talk about it's just raved about how well of a
Yeah.
job they've done. And it's returning to the third person view. So I like that.
Yeah. If you hear my cat in the background, I apologize. It's meowing.
No, it's all right. I did not hear them. All right, now your most anticipated game actually kind of surprises me a little bit. Um,
Mine is Division 2. And the reason for that is I got very big into the first division. Um, Probably 2 years after it came out. I don't know. I don't even know when the first one came out.
yeah, it was like it was
I,
towards the beginning of the generation. I remember.
so I picked up Division the first time when it first came out, and the servers were awful, and you couldn't connect anything.
Mm-hmm.
And So I was like, screw this game. I'm never playing the division again. Then Game Pass brought it on for free, and I picked it up again, and I fell in love with it. And I tried to get you hooked on it, and we just couldn't figure out right times to play with each other and whatnot.
Yeah. Still got it installed.
Yeah. But it's the way they're doing new things in Washington D.C. Like, I'm so excited for it. Like, I hope they take what they learned from the first go around and put that into this one.
Yeah, the first one of them, I remember. One of the things that turned me off was, I think it was it Times Square or whatever, where they had it like blocked off, where it was only like higher level players could go to.
Yeah.
I just remember like just wandering like down the roads, like exploring, and then just having like a zone. It was like, you're gonna die if you go in here.
Yeah, basically.
And I remember just like walking around it and be like, well, where do I go? Like, I got to walk around this whole zone. I can't go in. But I mean, that was early on. I don't know what changed pretty much since then.
But I'm excited for that. And another game I know I didn't put this on there, but the other game that I'm kind of iffy on, and I'm hoping it's great, but again, EA is Anthem.
Yes.
And from everything that we've seen so far, it looks great. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. It looks like a Destiny Monster Hunter had a baby and made a huge MMO kind of deal. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Now,
it's EA.
Do I think it's going to be that? No. I don't think it's going to be that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to get it on release, most likely. But
I think that'll be a release day for me, but I'm kind of right there with you.
No, I pay for EA access. So I get excuse me.
That's all right.
I get a discount on the marketplace. So it might be a day one purchase if by the time it comes out, like within this next month before it releases, I get really excited for it. I think it releases the same day as Crackdown, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. It's in February, isn't it? Or is it?
I think they're both February 21st.
Actually, February 22nd is Anthem. I'm looking at Metacritic's upcoming games right now. But Origin Access, you get it February 15th. So you do get it a week earlier.
That's only with PC, right?
It says Origin Access Premiere. But
I think Origin Access is a PS thing or PC thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is. But the 15th is the same day that we do get Crackdown. So Crackdown is a week earlier for consoles, but you are right, for PC it would be the same day. But yeah, that same day is loaded with games. That's Jump Force is that day, Civilization 4 for PC, Crackdown 3, Far Cry New Dawn, and Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping that's going to be a Game Pass game too.
Metro?
Yeah, because I know it's on all platforms. It's on PS4 too, so maybe not. But they got the other ones on there. But Crackdown 3 will be
Premiere real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Premiere, I'm looking at it right now. The Origin Access Premiere.
Yes.
So and this isn't a plug for them. I don't really care about them, but so for $14.99 a month or $100 for the year, you get all access to new EA games, including the DLC, and early access. Over 175 evolving collection of games, and you get 10% off EA game purchases. So that includes right now they have advertised obviously all their heavy hitters like Darksiders 3 is on there.
Mm-hmm.
Anthem is getting advertised, Battlefield, and this This is all just PC games. But I mean, for $100 for the year,
That's not bad.
and
Do
you
you
get
think?
everything.
What do you think EA's big game at E3 is going to be this year? Do you think it's going to be that new
It's
Star
gonna be, it
Wars?
has to be Star Wars.
Yeah.
It has to be that. If it's anything else, the Star Wars is gonna suck.
Hmm.
Like honestly, like as terrible as that sounds, um, it's the truth.
Yeah. I mean, the only
If
thing that's good
Star
is
Wars isn't their heavy hitter, they're screwed. And that game is screwed.
yeah. It's going to be interesting because I mean, like the last couple of years with EA, we've known what their big game was going to be. Like it was, I mean, Battlefield last
Yeah,
E3, Battlefront before that. Uh, Before that was whatever. Like it's going Battlefront and then like Battlefield back and forth.
yeah.
But they screwed the pooch on Battlefront, so we're not getting
And they
Battlefront 3. So
Battlefield this
yeah,
year.
yeah. All right, so I'm just going through here because I think the next time we do this podcast, I wanted to do it at least once a month, um, preferably like every 2 weeks or something like that. I mean, depending on release dates of games, because I don't want to have nothing to talk about. But like, I got Resident Evil comes out the 25th. Um, I'm looking at like games coming out. We got Animusha coming out the week of the 14th to the 20th, or January 15th. Travis Strikes Again for Switch. Ace Combat 7. Resident Evil the week after that. And then the week after Resident Evil, we got Kingdom Hearts 3, which I've never beaten any of the other Kingdom Hearts.
Neither have I.
It's one of those ones where I know it's good. I've not been able to get into them, but it still may be a day one for me, depending on the reviews. If people come out and say it's amazing and this is a good one to jump in on, I'm sold. But
See, if I can hop into it without playing the other ones fully.
mhm.
Like I think I played the first one up until the Alice in Wonderland level,
Yeah,
and then I got like confused and I stopped.
well, that Alice in Wonderland level, no, that one is because I just tried replaying this a couple months ago. That Alice in Wonderland level, by today's standards, your camera controls are god awful.
Yeah, like when
It's
you're fighting that big like spiral guy in
mhm.
the like kitchen or whatever. Like I'm like, dude, like I'm like 23 years old now. Like this shouldn't be this shouldn't be a pain in the ass for me.
And that was the other problem with that because I did that fight like 100 times. It felt like, but you got to watch the cut screen every time too. So it's very hard to go back. And I was playing on easy too. I think I
Yeah.
switched it to easy. It's just yeah, no, thank you. Um, so yeah, we got them coming out. We don't have much else coming out until that week of February, like 15th. So, but I mean, maybe we'll do like one at the end of January after I get like a couple days of Resident Evil. I'll talk about that and see what else we get. Um, so do you want to plug your stream? I'll let you do it.
um. Well, if you guys are looking for a gamer to follow on Twitch, you're interested in Call of Duty, Fortnite, really anything that comes out, I'll be playing. But mainly Call of Duty and Fortnite. Um, I stream every day. Uh, I put in the hours. You guys are gonna have a lot of entertainment, a lot of content. Uh, you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SpiderStags. Um, and when we link the podcast, we can put the link in the description. That way you know how
Oh
to
yeah,
spell it. But uh, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be on there every day. Fun time. We come enjoy. Our chat's always pretty funny. Most of the time,
entertaining.
entertaining to say the least. But yeah, I mean, we're growing. My stream's growing pretty quick. In the last month, we've hit 100 followers in our first month, and we're already a Twitch affiliate. So if you guys want to hop on board to a fast growing community, be sure to check me out. And yeah,
No, definitely. Yeah, and dude,
we're
definitely
even
big
selling
congrats.
merch now. We're even selling
Oh yeah,
merch.
that's right. Yeah. Big congratulations from me too. I mean, what you've done in the last month has been awesome.
It still
Like,
blows my mind. Like
yeah,
I was looking at people, not to continue on this topic, but
no, here you
I was
go.
looking at people. There's people that have been streaming for like a couple years, still trying to get to where I already hit in the first month.
Yeah,
So, I mean, for me, it's a huge accomplishment, and it's something that hopefully at some point I can do full time and
nah,
make enough money to make a living off of. I
quit
don't
your
think
day
I'm ever
job.
gonna hit ninja numbers, but
You never know. You get Drake on, you can.
I'll have to call him. I haven't talked to him in a long time, so I'll have to call him.
uh, all right. Well, we're gonna leave you guys. If you stuck around for the whole podcast, we definitely appreciate it. Uh, hopefully, we get more of these. I'm gonna try to put this up on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. So hopefully, we'll get more links and stuff like that. It's going to be on YouTube. Um, I believe we have a YouTube account. It is the Medium
It's
Difficulty
easy.
Podcast. I believe you can look it up. But I'll put all those stuff in the description and stuff like that too, if you can even find us. But thank you guys. This has been the Medium Difficulty Podcast. Have a good one.